go out to everyone in Las Vegas. Alex Urbina in the studio with us as well, and Alex has been a great guide, I know, in counseling us all through this. I'm still stunned. This is the first time I've gone in front of the microphone all day, but I've been talking to people behind the scenes, talking to people who lost a loved one, talking to people who are still in shock and scared to death, and just trying to make sense out of all this. If you're just tuning in, the latest report of the tragedy over at the Mandalay Bay in Vegas shows us now with 58 officially dead at this moment, injuries at 515 plus, and a number of Santa Clarita. We know of at least one Santa Clarita death here. And
I think there's a Palmdale one that just got confirmed.
That we just got, a woman named Jenny Parks. The John Phippen is the death here, and tragic. I spoke to his son Travis, who was actually at the concert along with his dad. Travis is a medic, and Travis got shot also, but was able to, and then of course watched. I can't even imagine, watched his dad get shot and deceased. And then Travis went, he's a rock star. He went ahead and did what was in his DNA, and that was to go out and just help others. And he said he was assisting 14, 15, 16 others.
Wow. And
we're hearing more and more stories of heroism like that. But just trying to make sense of all this, I know you and Bob Sharretts have been talking for a while about it. Maybe you can just recap, Alex. How do you put this into any kind of context?
I think that, at some point you have to, or you get to tell yourself that you can't control anything outside of yourself. And, working with people for 25 years, a lot of the coaching that I do to help people master themselves is by helping them learn the distinction between the things that they can control and the things that they can't, and to learn how to not be in resistance to the things that they can't control. So you can't control the world. You can't control the world event. You can't control others. You can only control you, and you only have the ability to work on the things that you have the power within yourself to do. And so I think that's number one, is realizing that you have no control over what happened. And hopefully that's the first step of freeing you up to now surrender that I can't make this look a certain way. And so I think that's part of the shock. The shock is, I can't believe this happened. I can't believe this happened. As long as you stay in that shock, in the disbelief of it happening, you're, to some degree, you're in a psychological resistance to it even happening in the first place. And so I think on the outside of that, and it's a process you got to go through, on the back end of it is, all right, it happened. It's part of the way, it's part of the world. It's been happening probably since time began, where we have evil people in the world that take advantage of us when we're vulnerable, and it's just part of the way the world is. And so we got to heal ourselves and pick ourselves back up so that we can keep moving forward.
But we also, with something like this, as we step out of shock and then transition over a little bit in the next few days, we have to not only make sense of it, but then also learn from it and use it as just another device for us to become further protective and be smarter about things. And it's not to say this couldn't happen in another time, another place. It's that at least there be a purpose to people.
Absolutely. It's definitely a learning. It's an opportunity for learning and teaching. Like I was sharing with Bob earlier last night, it became a learning and a teachable moment for me, my wife, and my youngest daughter. She's 21. And it just opened up a dialogue. It had a conversation it was a very powerful conversation that me and my wife had with my youngest, talking about what she would do in a situation like that when she's out, at the club or at an event or wherever she's at. Well, and it's just opening up a discussion with your family members to talk about it. Can you learn from it? Absolutely. So I think that if we take this as a learning opportunity in all aspects, as well as healing, and that can kind of propel us to get to the other end of it.
We're getting further updates on a couple things. First of all, we know Cesar, the owner of Body Shop 661, he was shot in the shoulder and had to wait a while for surgery because they were taking the more dire people into surgery first, but he's doing pretty well. The other good news is that as we understand, and again, a lot of these reports are sketchy, but we understand that there were some 15 Santa Clarita sheriffs at the concert, and we do know that at least 2 were injured. One, we think maybe 3. We don't have reports on a third one, but one who we know for sure was seriously hurt. He looks like we're getting reports that he's going to make it through, and he's in a lot of pain right now. But our prayers are there that he's going to make it. And we know one other LA County sheriff was able to make it through without serious injuries. And then Josh Dubin, who was the PIO officer for the sheriffs for a long time, he was there at the concert and saw some of his buddies fall, but Josh is okay. And a lot of these people who we're hearing from, they may be okay physically, but how do you purge the horror and the nightmare of the situation? How do you make that transition, Alex, from shock to reality to really understanding it?
I think that, it comes with giving yourself permission to feel what you're feeling, and being mindful and aware of what you are feeling, being honest with it, and then permission to go through that process, whatever it is. Whether it's shock, okay, great, I'm in shock still, and you have permission to be there for as long as you need to, and until you transition into, okay, now I'm starting to accept that this happened. And so be patient with yourself. I think in today's world we're so caught up in getting instant gratification. We want everything right now, and something like this you don't get right now. It's an ongoing process. It's going to take time, and everyone goes through it in a different time frame. Some people can get through it in a couple days. Some can get through it in a couple weeks. Some it takes months, and some years, or some never get over it. So be patient with yourself, but be mindful of, all right, I want to get myself to a certain destination. I want to get to a place where I can make sense of it, rationalize it, and then I can move on from it and heal from it.
As you're traveling around Santa Clarita right now, we're talking, of course, about the tragedy last night in Las Vegas at the Mandalay Bay, giving you updates and also sharing how much it's touched Santa Clarita. And we're getting more and more reports of Santa Clarita residents who attended that concert. We know that. We've all been to Vegas.
You got to remember,
concerts.
Vegas is our backyard for play, for adults. We got, for kids, it's Anaheim with Disneyland. And for adults, it's Las Vegas. So that's our area where we can, we work really hard as community members for our families and earn. And then we want to go out and we just have a good time, enjoy a concert. We're going to drive out right over the hill there for a few-hour drive, get in there, and we want to just let loose and hang out and enjoy ourselves. And to have that kind of tragedy hit is just, it's horrible.
On another note, too, tragically, rocker, I think one of the greatest rockers of all time, Tom Petty, it's now official, has passed away from a heart attack, and he was a great and incredible influencer, and there were some Santa Clarita connections also with Tom Petty. There was a singer back in the '60s who lived here, Del Shannon, with the hit "Runaway," and we actually purchased the house from Del Shannon's family, but Del Shannon was the mentor for Tom Petty, and then when Del Shannon's career went in the dumps, Tom Petty stepped in and assisted Del when Tom Petty was as hot as can be in the late 80s and 90s, and they did a lot, worked on some albums, and worked together out here in Santa Clarita for a number of years. The famous Tom Petty song where he's driving down the coast, me and Del singing "Runaway," that's what that's all about. That's all a Santa Clarita connection, and Tom Petty has left the world with some amazing music, amazing talent.
Yeah, that's sad. I can't imagine. That came down. Was that last night or that came down this morning?
No, that all was happening now.
But
yeah.
he got rushed to the hospital from a heart attack. Is that what it was?
Yeah, from a heart attack, and now they've told us that they pulled off. The family decided to pull him off life support.
Wow.
System. So shame. So tragic day here as we talk about a lot of people in our lives who are no longer going to be here right now. And then we can also look at the positive side, and there could have been so many more deaths last night in that shooting, and it's just was one of those random things as to who got hit and who didn't get hit, and it for me it gives me pause to say, wow, I've been at many concerts like that. It could have, what would I be doing if I was over there? How would I handle it?
Yeah, and then you got to also think about the possibility of how many people that came out of that fight or flight mode now have to deal with some possible guilt of running through that maze of people to find safety, just to watch people in front of you fall down. I watched one lady, a young girl, give a testimony, and she was kind of sharing her story. And she said, look at all this blood on my legs. This isn't my blood. This is blood from people that I was trampling over, crawling over to get to safety. And so you're going to have so many different things that can come up out of the trauma from just being there. Like Erin that called in earlier, and she so courageously shared her story. She wasn't actually in the crowd. She was a little bit off, as she had shared, kind of in a canopy or a tent.
Yeah, can you repeat that? Because I wasn't here for that, so I missed.
Well, she shared that her and her husband were there, but they were in a different area. They weren't in the open there. They were kind of off to the side in a tent. So when it was happening, they once they realized what was going on, they skirted out of there and they shuffled back to their house and scurried and just went on a mission. But she said that she didn't see all the stuff that we're watching on the news, where if you were in that melee and you were right in the middle of it, you're watching bodies just fall right in front of you and blood being splattered. I mean, it's just a horrible experience. But even in her experience, it's still horrible because she was there. And so then now what kicks in afterwards is, oh my God, I was there. So you drive, you get home, you look up, and you're watching these scenes, and you're trying to make sense of, I was there, I could have been one of those ones. And again, it's all perspective, because like Erin said, her perspective was, it wasn't my time. So it's all about, how do I make sense of this? What powerful perspective can I create that empowers me rather than disempowers me? And you're not bad and wrong if you can't find a perspective right now to empower you. Just go through the process. It's just, however your process is perfect, and you just go through it in a healthy way. But go through it with the intention that I'm going to get myself out of it, that I'm going to pick myself up at some point, and I'm going to start living powerfully again.
Your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Carl Goldman in the studio, along with Alex Urbina, talking about the Mandalay Bay tragedy last night and the impact it's had on us here in Santa Clarita residents. We've lost one Santa Clarita resident that we know of so far, one Palmdale resident, a number of Santa Clarita residents injured and are sharing their stories with us.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
If and when this starts to unfold and we start to get towards a couple of days out of here, are you willing to let some of them come tell their stories? Are they
absolutely?
So how do they just reach? How do they just make phone calls to you? Because I know the phone's been ringing off the hook.
And we're in touch with a lot of them. Many we know from before this incident. We know very well. So we've been texting back and forth, and even as I shared a few minutes ago, John Phippen. I talked to Travis on the phone. I knew Travis. I met Travis a couple times when he was a kid. So there's already that connection. And yes, we'll be reaching out to them because I believe it's really important for them to share their stories, and having you part of that process, Alex, it probably will help them heal as well. And I know for me, whenever I'm in a incident, it could be on the freeway where there's a near miss or something, and I say, wow, that could have turned out a lot differently if I hadn't been proactive on the freeway, and that car just went crazy in front of me. I could have very easily been dust after that. So I know that gives me the occasion to truly appreciate other things, and my belief is those who are alive, even the ones who are on the table right now going through surgery and are going to make it through this, are going to have a very, very different outlook on life afterwards.
Yeah, and I also want to point out something that I didn't talk about in the last hour and a half, and that is it's okay to be grateful that this tragedy didn't affect you. It's okay to make sure that you can still be compassionate for the loss of other people at the same time. So don't feel bad that you're grateful that you're alive and that you're grateful that your kids or people that were there are safe, and at the same time be heartbroken and compassionate for the loss of other people. It's okay to have both feelings. A lot of times people think, I feel, is this bad that I'm feeling grateful that I'm alive when other people are going through a tragedy? And my answer is no. You can have both experiences, and it's healthy to have them both. You can have both at the same time.
I've just been handed an update, Alex, on the latest on the Vegas tragedy. We know, for those just tuning in, Santa Clarita lost John Phippen today. He was killed in the tragedy, actually last night. And we know that Phippen's son Travis was there at the time, and Travis was also injured, but doing okay. Cesar Renuncio, who's the owner of Body Shop 661, is doing good after surgery. I believe he's going through surgery right now. He was shot in the shoulder. Susie Laporte, wounded by multiple gunshot wounds to the upper portion of her body. She's currently being treated in a Las Vegas hospital. Dominic Zuela, hopefully I pronounced that name right, Dominica Ziola, Zeolla, from Santa Clarita, was also shot, recovering in the ICU following surgery Monday morning. We know that there were 3 Los Angeles County Sheriff's personnel from Santa Clarita. We believe that 3 of them have been injured. One of these is in critical shape, but I'm getting texts back that it looks like he's going to make it, so our prayers are out to them as well. And we're waiting word on one of the other sheriff victims. We know also that there are 3 Los Angeles County Fire Department personnel with non-life-threatening conditions. More and more information coming out about the guy who created all this, who did this. It's still not making any sense yet, but we're getting more and more information. We do know that at least in all these reports, that it looks like he was a loner doing this, that it was not attached to any kind of ISIS, despite the fact that ISIS is now claiming some kind of terrorism attached to it. That doesn't look like that happened. It looks like it's one of those random, horrible things that we're now going to have to try and make sense out of.
Yeah, and heal from, and continue to live our life, and make a decision that I'm going to continue to live my life from a place of freedom and trust and love and vulnerability, to a certain point, because we still got to make sure that we're protecting ourselves and our family. Like I was telling earlier, I was talking to Bob about going to Vegas. You go to Vegas and you go there to have a good time and enjoy yourselves, and for the most part you're safe. I mean, besides having the occasional person trying to hustle you or pick your wallet or whatever, you're on guard. But at least your walls are down, because you have come to the conclusion that you live in a society that we all agree to take care of each other, and at the most part, enjoy ourselves in a city where it's kind of like a rule of thumb that we can let our hair down, and that we're safe around each other, and celebrate and enjoy life. And obviously last night was a statement that we just got to be a little bit more mindful, more aware, and trust our gut and our intuition. But hopefully if enough of us decide that terrorism is not going to shut us down, and we all stand behind that, we could really change the world, and I believe in that.
Alex, I know you've got to run. I appreciate so much you spending time and helping us heal and helping us begin to make some sense out of this. I know you'll be back again either later today or certainly tomorrow, and we can continue this conversation as we begin to get more and more information, and also as we begin to understand it a little bit better.
Anytime. Thanks for inviting me.
Your hometown station, AM 1220, back with nonstop coverage right now on the tragedy in Vegas.
Drugs or alcohol abuse can tear a family apart. In Santa Clarita, just like everywhere else, it's an epidemic. The Way Out Recovery is here to help. Call them now at 296-4444 or visit them on the web at thewayoutrocoveryscv.com. The Way Out offers outpatient treatment for adolescents, adults, and family members. The Way Out is compassionate, caring, professional, and confidential. You and your family don't have to suffer any longer. Call the Way Out Recovery now, 296-4444, or visit thewayoutrocoveryscv.com and make an appointment. Asking for help is the first step.
Hi, Kirk Stinson here with Plumbing by Kirk, your hometown plumber, here to let you know that it's sometimes more cost-effective to have Plumbing by Kirk fix it than to have your husband wrestle with those plumbing problems. And if you play your cards right, you might not have to let him know that we were even there. We invite you to visit our website for free plumbing advice at plumbingbykirk.com or give us a call, 263-6519. That's 263-6519.
My dad is the best plumber ever. Plumbing by Kirk.
There's only one Santa Clarita plastic surgeon who is Yale trained and board certified, Dr. Justin Heller.
To be a board certified plastic surgeon like myself, what that truly entails is about 5 to 7 years of honed surgical training in reconstructive, all areas, as well as aesthetics, which means your facelifts, your breast augmentations, your body contouring, true training, and board certification. In fact, that's the only board certified area that can be achieved in this realm.
Dr. Justin Heller, warm, understanding, always available for guidance because he's local. HellerPlasticSurgery.com.
Whatever your goals, College of the Canyons can get you there. Believe it or not, it's not too late to add a class this fall semester. They have transferable 8-week classes starting in October. Know someone who's away at college? Encourage them to get ahead by taking an online class with COC. With 3 campuses to choose from, Valencia, Canyon Country, and online, they make it convenient for you to start your finish. What are you waiting for? Visit canyons.edu/class schedule for class listings.
You got some aches and pains, you weekend warrior, chronic inflammation or chronic pain? Well, guess what? I've got a solution for you. It's called Men Cryotherapy, right here in Santa Clarita. Men Cryotherapy is what the major leaguers are using to mend their aches and pains. They're in the LA Fitness Shopping Center on Newhall Ranch Road. They could be a wonderful blessing for you to relieve you of your joint pain and regain your mobility. Remember the name, Men Cryotherapy, or check them out at mencryotherapy.com. That's MEND cryotherapy.com.
At Jersey Mike's, we think there's a whole lot of wow to be found between 2 layers of fresh baked bread. Like, wow, this sub sandwich sure has a little something something special. And wow, Juice does for sub sandwiches what spinach does for a certain well-known sailor man. Because we never just make a sub. Every sub we make is a sub above. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Your Santa Clarita Jersey Mike's, a proud sponsor of Santa Clarita Sports.
Drugs or alcohol abuse can tear a family apart. In Santa Clarita, just like everywhere else, it's an epidemic. The Way Out Recovery is here to help. Call them now at 296-4444 or visit them on the web at thewayoutrocoveryscv.com. The Way Out offers outpatient treatment for adolescents, adults, and family members. The Way Out is compassionate, caring, professional, and confidential. You and your family don't have to suffer any longer. Call the Way Out Recovery now, 296-4444, or visit thewayoutrocoveryscv.com and make an appointment. Asking for help is the first step.
Everyone here at KHTS is sending good thoughts and prayers to those affected by this horrific mass shooting in Vegas. We are hearing that there could be some Santa Clarita ties to this incident.
Yeah, the Santa Clarita Valley is the gateway to Las Vegas.
If you know anyone in the Vegas area, they are in desperate need of blood, so if you can pass that on. Also, the president has asked us today...
Fly our flags at half-mast.
Yes.
More information as we get it, any Santa Clarita ties, any new updates on any of the information coming out nationally, you can go to hometownstation.com.
KHTS, breaking news.
All right, Santa Clarita's hometown station, KHTS. I'm Kyle Jellings, hopping in here with Carl Goldman, and we're talking about The horrific stuff that happened in Las Vegas last night around 10 o'clock p.m. Injuries sustained in Las Vegas, currently at 515. That's the number of people that were injured, and 58 deaths. And a couple of Santa Clarita residents have been injured. One has been killed. John Phippen. And did you have a relationship with him, Carl?
Yeah,
I know he's been in the Santa Clarita Valley for a long time. He's done construction for quite some time.
Yeah, we've known John, and John's wife, Consuela, worked for us for a long time. Consuela's no longer living either, and so it's tragic that they still have at least a young daughter, and I know we talked to Travis, the son, who's devastated with this. Travis was actually at the scene and also shot, but he's a medic and jumped right in and did the heroic thing, and he helped, he said, some 14, 15, 16 people during the emergency while, of course, his dad lay by his side dead. And I know we lost also one Palmdale woman, Jenny Parks is deceased. Our friend Cesar.
Cesar, yeah.
Body
I've
Shop
interviewed him.
661.
I've interviewed him a couple times.
He's doing okay. I talked to his mom, and Caesar's doing fine through surgery now, and with a shoulder wound. And we know that there are a few others. Susie Laporte had multiple gunshot wounds to the upper portion of her body. She's currently being treated right now. Our thoughts and prayers going out to Susie and her family. Dominica Zuela from Santa Clarita also shot and recovering in the ICU. And we do know that there are 3 Santa Clarita sheriffs of the 15 that we know of who were at the concert. 3 were hit. It looks like one with minor injuries, one with significant injuries, and I just got a text saying that it looks like he's going to pull through.
Oh, that's good.
So that's great, in a lot of pain, but looks like he's going to make it. We don't have a report on the third one yet. And as you can tell and see from all the reports, the chaos that erupted after that and throughout the night and morning and even now, it's going to be a while before everything gets sorted through. And the hospitals, I can imagine what the hospitals are like and what they're going through and trying to handle that load as well.
From what I read, there's 3 main hospitals that are handling all of it. If you know somebody in the Las Vegas area and that are healthy individuals, tell them to go donate blood, because that is they are pleading for that. They actually have, I saw images of the Mandalay Bay where the shooter was, and what they're flashing on there is the number to call if you are trying to locate somebody that's missing. They also have a number that or like thoughts and prayers to the family, and then third is it says please go to donate blood if you can.
In fact, we should get those numbers. I know we have those posted on our website, but we'll pull those numbers and be able to pass them out on the over the airwaves as well. Trying to make sense at all this, I don't think there's a way to do it. As we've learned with other tragedies, we're all in a state of shock at the moment, and it's going to take a little while for that to wear out and wear off and transition into a little more understanding on this. Obviously, as more and more facts come in, we'll share those and really be part of the healing process. We're feeling this the same way everyone else is right now. There are a lot of people we've touched who have been impacted significantly by this.
And this is one of those things where I kind of heard it this morning, and I heard it and I was like, oh man, that's crazy. And then as you read more details, you're like, wow, 58. Well, at the time in this morning it was around 50. It was like 40 plus, and then it went to 50 plus. Now the number is 58 deaths. And 500 plus people are injured all over Las Vegas, being treated for different injuries that not only were gunshot wounds, but also people got trampled because of the chaos. And it started as one of those, man, this is really sad. And then it was like, oh man, I'm looking at Facebook, and there were actually people that I know at this concert. And then it transformed into, this feels like kind of a game changer, like 9/11 was in terms of security and different things, because this is insane how it happened. It was an open concert venue. If you look at the overhead map, there's the Mandalay Bay, and then across the street is this open parking lot, and where they had 20,000 plus people going to see Jason Aldean, and this guy just broke open his window from the 32nd floor and just started shooting at him. And that's something that if you go to an outdoor concert, that's not really something you even thought about until something like this happens.
And, but we've been seeing this more and more in the news. We had the tragedy in London at that concert. I think any event that we're at now, whether I was at a football game on Sunday and the Chargers-Eagles game on Sunday. That's of an area where any place now where there's a lot of people becomes a vulnerable target. And it's a different era now of having to really be smart about it. Now, NFL football, since 9/11, they've put in
lots of different security.
Sporting
events in general.
They've got the NFL has the clear plastic bags now that go out there, and so you can't even bring in a knapsack or anything like that. So there is security taking place there, and I know that there's lots of hidden security at those games as well. But now it's going to have to slide over to concerts.
And there's things that like I was saying, there's things that are happening now that you didn't even know to think about because of like that. I mean, nothing like this has ever happened. I mean, the World Trade Centers didn't think of, we don't need to worry about planes crashing into us. You know what I mean? And this is kind of one of those game changer type of moments. Again, 58 deaths related to this horrible act that happened last night in Las Vegas, the biggest mass shooting death in the history of the United States. There is an update. Santa Clarita residents can donate blood to Las Vegas shooting victims. Santa Clarita residents are now able to do 2 different locations by the Red Cross to donate the Las Vegas shooting victims beginning this week. Now, that is true. However, I think if you have people in the Las Vegas area, that's certainly the better way to go about it. Just encourage people, if you know, in and around the greater Nevada area to go donate blood.
Yeah, this blood here will help replenish supplies that have been used up, and obviously the Red Cross and a lot of the other emergency services are pushed to the limit right now with all of the hurricanes that have taken place. They're also dealing with the earthquake in Mexico, so there's a lot of challenges for all of our first responders and emergency services, and this now is just another one of those unfortunate incidents. But by all means, if you know of family or anyone in Vegas who can give blood, that's where the immediate need is, and that will be of great assistance.
So here's what we know. There has been 58 deaths related to the Las Vegas shooting. It's a Las Vegas massacre is what they're calling it. 58 deaths, over 500 people also injured and being treated in Las Vegas area hospitals. John Phippen of Santa Clarita was killed in the Las Vegas mass shooting last night. He was in attendance with his son, Travis, at the concert last night. Cesar Ranuccio, how do you say his last name, Carl?
I think you were close. Ranuccio.
Okay, Ranuccio. He's the owner of Body Shop 661, friend of the station. And he got shot in the shoulder while attending the concert, but he was in stable condition. We talked to his mom, and things seem to be okay there. Susie Laporte was wounded by multiple gunshot wounds in the upper portion of her body, is currently being treated in the Las Vegas hospital. Dominica Ziola is from Santa Clarita as well. She was shot, and she's in recovery in the ICU following surgery on today. And then a female Palmdale resident, Jenny Parks, has also been confirmed that she has died. And again, we have all the stories at hometownstation.com. We'll keep you here on your hometown station, KHTS. Other news, this is just a quick note real quick. TMZ has confirmed that Tom Petty was rushed to the hospital after he was found unconscious. He has died. 66 years old Tom Petty, leader of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, has died. And we're going to be playing some tunes from his later. We're going to take a quick break to hear top of the hour news right now.
Yes, Canyon Country, Santa Clarita.
It's 2 o'clock. Time for KHTS National News powered by CNN.
KHTS.